guys, welcome back to another video. Of course, this is going to be a cooking video, and today we are cooking a cheese and onion and bacon quiche. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let's go ahead and get started. One thing I forgot to add, absolutely everything in this video is stuff that we have found in our dumpster. So this is a completely free meal. Now let's go. I'm just laying out everything that I used for my quiche. I used some eggs, pie crust, bacon, 2 different types of cheeses, and onion. And of course a little seasoning, salt, pepper, all that good stuff. Also some half and half. But quiche is so personal. You use what you want in it, because I feel like that's the good thing about quiche. You can just make it your own, just full of, whatever leftovers you may have in your fridge. Is so good. I showed you guys some Parmesan cheese as well, but I ended up not using it. And this is my onion that was about to go bad that I wanted to go ahead and cut up and use in here as well. So of course, first we are going to start with putting a pie crust in a pie pan. You can definitely make your own pie crust, but I have so many of these that we found from the, gosh, what haul was that? I think it was one of the hauls from our local grocery stores. So yeah. Now also, if you're going to be using a store-bought pie crust, it's best to let it thaw all the way out. But y'all, I was starving. I had to go ahead and get the party started. So my pie crust is going to be pretty jagged. It had some rips and tears because I was just ready to get it in that pan so I could eat. Next, I'm going to take this bacon. You can usually use 8 to 10 slices. This particular pack only had 12 slices, and I didn't want to put it back in the fridge just with 2 slices left in there. So I just went ahead and cut all of it. Quick moment of transparency. This quiche is not going to be healthy in any way, shape, or form for you. This is going to be a feel-good dish that you can share with your family. A lot of people make it on Christmas morning, New Year's morning, whatever. I usually microwave my bacon just because it's so much easier in my opinion, but since I'm going ahead and cutting it in strips, I'm just going to put it on the stove just to fry up really quickly. You can also cook your bacon as it is, like in the strips, and then crumble it later. However, for quiche and dishes like this, I just like to go ahead and pre-cut it. I feel like it's just so much easier. I don't have to do it once the bacon is already cooked. So I'm just going to finish chopping it up and throw it on the stove. So I have this over a medium heat. I just threw it in a pan and I'm just going to let this cook. I didn't want to cook it too fast because I always have issue with bacon kind of like cooking really well on one side and then not so well on the other, and I just feel like it burns a lot easier in the pan. So I always cut my bacon down just a tad bit low, but this one, it came out really good, so I'm happy. So I'm also going to cut up an onion because I had this onion I needed to do something with, and onion, in my quiche just kind of, it just sounded right. It just sounded good. So I was like, well, let me just go ahead and dice up this onion. Now, also, I decided I didn't want to put it in the quiche raw. I wanted to like give it a little bit of, apply just a little bit of heat to it. So I'm going to do that after the bacon is done in the same pan that had the bacon, so it gets that bacon flavor. Now, if you guys remember, we got this Munster cheese from one of our local grocery stores, and I really haven't done much with it. So I pulled it out. I'm just going to chop it and put it in the quiche. Now, you can definitely put whatever kind of cheese that you want in there. I'm basically using odds and ends, if you haven't picked up on that yet. I'm using odds and ends just to kind of get it out the fridge, make some use out of it, because we save so much stuff getting it out the dumpster, and I hate to let it go to waste in our house, you know what I mean? So a lot of my recipes will be using things that the normal recipe doesn't really call for, just because it's what we have. Now, you guys remember these packs of cheese as well. I'm just going to give these a rough chop. I want this cheese to kind of stay, I don't want to chop it too finely, if that makes sense. I kind of want it to stay just a little bit, you know what I mean, kind of bigger, because once it melts, you'll still have those little specks of cheese in there, and it will just be delicious. So I'm going ahead and I'm just going to put this in the pie crust, and then I just thought, why not use the whole bag? Because I mean, we already use a pack of bacon and it's already unhealthy, so like, why stop here? So I'm just gonna go ahead and use that whole bag, just do a rough chop and go ahead and throw it in my pie crust. basically, with any type of quiche you're making, you're basically putting everything in your pie crust and then adding an egg mixture on top. You put it in the oven and it bakes and it makes a quiche. So I'm going to use 3 to 4 eggs here. Okay, it looks like I used 4. I'm just going to mix it up. Now, I used some half and half last week, and then I put the rest in the Ziploc bag in the freezer. So I pulled it out and let it thaw out, because I wanted to go ahead and use this up too, just so it wouldn't be in there. So I did use, I mean, not half and half, I use heavy whipping cream. You can use half and half though, but I did use a cup of heavy whipping cream. And when I tell you guys it was in the freezer and it was thick, look at this. Like, it was thick, thick. So here's what I did. I went ahead and mixed this in, and it made a super thick, almost like a slurry. So then I cracked another egg and put some warm water in it and whisked that up and poured it in the pie crust. Now, had I been thinking, or had I realized how thick it was, I would have just went ahead and put the water in that bowl right there, the white bowl, and just kind of mixed it up. And this is me frying my onions, and I've already put the bacon in there. So yeah, you just want to thin that mixture out. However, if you're using milk or half and half, you will be good. Like I said, I use what we have, so I have to substitute things all the time. And this is about where you want your onions to be. You don't want to cook them all the way, but you definitely want them to start getting a little golden. And I'm just going to pour it right in their pan as well. Just kind of make sure a little bit gets over the whole thing, and I'm putting my egg mixture on there. You see how thick it is? It wasn't going to work for me. So this is when I crack an egg, add some water in it, and then pour that on top, and it actually came out beautifully. It came out great. So I stick it in the oven on 350 degrees, about 20 to 24 minutes. And this was the final outcome, you guys. It looked so good. It tasted so good. And the 1,000,000 pounds of cheese I had in there wasn't enough, so I sprinkled just a little bit on there, just on top, more for a garnish, but you know, it's all the same color, so you can't see it. When I served it for myself and for Babe, I did sprinkle a little bit of parsley on there, just so it was pretty. You know, presentation is definitely everything, so I'm just going to take a little itty bitty bite, and it was so good. It's cheesy, it's bacony. Now, one word of caution: if you're using the same amount of stuff that I did, or even the same ingredients, the bacon and the cheese, don't load it up with salt, because your bacon's salty, your cheese is salty. You don't need it. I just added pepper and garlic. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you tomorrow.